Okay, so here we are, the first ever All Things 80s live stream. And first of all, hope you can see me and I hope you can hear me. So I've got the StreamYard here and the YouTube here, so you might see me sort of looking all over the place. But anyway, I did say this morning I would be happy if I got 10 people watching, and it appears there are actually 17 watching, which is quite remarkable. And there's a ton of comments already. So what I'm going to try and do is greet everyone who said something here, and then we can get on to hopefully you guys asking me some questions. And it's a bit confusing here because I'm seeing that YouTube is way ahead of StreamYard, but never mind. So first up, we had Faithful World Baptist 1611. Best wishes with your live stream. Hope to get a chance to tune in. All right, thank you. Next up, it's the Pontiac Bandit. Hello there. Hello there. We got Stormy T. Howdy all. And All Things Toys, who is not connected to me in any way, but he asked if he could be a moderator, which I said yes, because Marcus here was one of the very first viewers, subscribers, and commented on my videos way back when I first started this. So he's keeping an eye on everything in the chat. Who's this? Punisher XS. Okay, very good. We've got Will from New Zealand. Good morning. Man, it must be very early there. I don't know what time it is, but thank you for tuning in. And here is the very generous Anthony. He's saying, hello, everyone. We've got the Black Illuminati. What's the topic? Any topic, just ask me anything you want, and I'll try and give you a good, honest answer. All Things 80s would be my fave. Well, I think it's all of our favorites. Carl, hi Carl. He's lurking and listening. Okay, cool. Black Illuminati again. I love the junk food in the fridge, 80s. Okay, not quite sure what that means. I think I've already lost my place. Here we go. All right, no, back on track. Sorry about that. Again, this could be complete car crash TV. So even if you find what I'm saying boring, something could go disastrously. Oops. Another thing I need to watch is my language, but things could go horribly wrong. So keep watching for that. Next up, comment. Sean Thorpe, afternoon all. Carl, video and sounds are great. Thank you, Carl. Pontiac Bandit is telling us it's on live. Good. Blue Harvest Toys. Hey there. I am the Dave. Evening, fellow Hybe. Just finished watching a very dodgy stream of the Rangers game, and they were quite lucky, but that's to be expected with those nasty people from the West. Black Illuminati again. Didn't mean to have fridge in there. Stupid 2021 technology. Okay. Blake Tarpley. Hey, Dean, love the channel. Thanks for doing a live stream. Oh, you're welcome. Sandalorian Toy Hunter. Toys are the way. Yes, they are. And, okay, I'm losing track here. Evening Villa Heavy, we had that one. We should be doing this all along. Another one from, sorry, here we go. Edinburgh here. Hello from Edinburgh. Arsenal game on one monitor and you on the other. Great you're doing this. You're welcome. I mean, this is a whole new step for me, so just bear with me if I do screw things up, and hopefully it'll be all right. We should be doing this all along. Blue Harvest, I'd like to come on. Absolutely. As I said at the outset, this is just the first ever live stream. This is like a test run to see how this all works. So I did have to get a special adapter to get the camera to link up. I've got a microphone here. So this is just the first ever stream to test things out. But from what I can tell, it's working. And so far, so good, I think. Where are we now? That was Blue Harvest. We've got Matthew Lewis. Hi, everyone. Holy crap. This is some, hang on, this can't be real. Blake Tarpley, a $200 super chat. Jesus, man. Thank you so much. I am speechless. Wow. Incredibly generous. Thank you so much. You've no idea how grateful I am. Unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wow is correct. And I missed one here. Anthony, for Millennium Falcon parts. Thank you so much. $5. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Just finished watching your donation video. Did you by chance... I think I do have the third landing gear in one of those bags. Hello there from the 80s and Star Wars guy. And if I remember rightly, I think 80s and Star Wars guy is a younger viewer. And it's good to see that the young people do have a passion for vintage Star Wars. Wheelchair RC Escape. Loved your channel, watch every day. Well, thank you so much. Dr. Dave, howdy y'all. Hi. Howdy, Dave. Cranky Rancor, hi there. You have a great channel. Cheers from Australia. Well, thank you for watching. Vintage Toy Rush, hello. Great to see you live streaming. Well, thank you for tuning in. Roland's Reviews, hello there. Let's roll out. Yeah, it's a fellow Transformers fan. Let's see. Good luck to you, fella. All the best. Well, thank you. Dave Tez, so that's Blue Harvest greeting his what does it say, the fellow Pally Boys, Mark and Dave. Wow, that absolutely is awesome, unbelievable. B Retro Gamer, hey Dean. Still scrolling here. Can't wait to get super chat on the Pally Boys. Yeah, it's incredible, really is. How are you? I'm very good, thank you. How are you? Yes, I am. You remembered? Yeah, I do remember. That's the other thing I say about my channel is that no matter what, I always respond to comments, because if you're good enough to leave a comment, it's only right that I read it and respond. It may just be a thumbs up, but I do read every comment and I try to respond to everyone if at all possible. Let's see. I've lost the place again. You see, it's moving too fast. Jesus Christ, there's 44 people watching. Wasn't expecting that. So you can see how I'm getting a bit flustered here with trying to keep track of everything, but I'm trying to do my best. Right, here we are back up top. So we got Anthony. Hello, Roland Reviews. Django Unbrained. Hello there. It's the Black Illuminati again. Do you have any of the 80s junk food packaging, cereal boxes, pop cans, candy? Actually, yes. I found a couple of candy wrappers. I can't remember where I found them. It was in something that I had at my parents' house. One was a Spacers wrapper, which, if you're from the UK, was like a chewy candy that was spearmint flavored, and I think it was green and white striped. And the other one was from an item called BMX bubblegum, which I don't actually remember at all, but I have those two wrappers. So that was the first real question. That was a good one. Hello. So Mark Tez, hello. We got Pontic Bandit. Were you going to do the Retro Blasting interview part 2, or did I miss it? I don't know. That's not my decision to make. I would love to go back on. I had a great time chatting with Michael. Did you order the Bantha? No, I did not. I simply because it's not something that really appeals to me. I like it. It looks good and all, but it's just not something that is of any great interest to me. I'm more about the figures, to be honest. Oh, okay. So he's going to send me some Batman cards. So thank you. Hey, Jack. Let's see. Hi, watching from the UK. Thank you. Steam, and they shall follow. Great to see you doing a live stream. You take me back to my childhood every time I watch. Very happy days. Well, thank you. And that's exactly what it's all about. Just looking back on some of our wonderful childhood memories and trying to recreate new ones. So this is exactly the point of what I'm trying to achieve here. Thanks for being a spokesperson on the mental health. Well, absolutely. And that's something else. If anyone out there is watching and has any questions regarding that, I am a complete open book. I've done things to myself which are, as how do I say this without being too dramatic, but you know, I've been as low as a human being can be and tried to escape, and it's by pure chance that I'm still here to tell the story. So I am absolutely open to any questions on that subject. And whilst I'm not a medical expert, I do have firsthand experience. So if I can be of assistance to anyone, I will gladly help anyone who asks for my help. Okay, lost the spot again. Oh man, this is just so overwhelming, actually. Oh man, wait there. So that was B Retro Gamer. Okay, here we go. So next one. Do you have any Star Wars costumes you could put on for us sometime? That sounds a bit kinky, actually. I've always wanted to see you done up like that. Chewie, maybe your hands. No, I don't have any Star Wars costumes. And that's, I don't know, that just seems weird to me, dressing up. Or maybe I've got a dirty mind, but when people talk about, oh, maybe you could dress up, I'm always thinking about weird, I don't know, bondage type stuff. Maybe I'm just crazy, but no, I don't have any costumes, unfortunately. Take it easy, you're doing fine. Yeah, I'm kind of hyper at the moment, actually. I need to try and calm down. It's not easy, is it? It certainly is not easy. Well, actually, being a guest is easy. I like being a guest more than I like doing this, because this is like, I'm trying to watch this and take care of the chat, and I wasn't expecting this much, so doing my best here. Got some great tubers in the chat. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. Your channel inspired me to make my own channel. Wonderful. Glad to hear it. I like that sort of comment. Hey, Mark and Tez. We all stand together in the toy community. Yeah, it is good to be part of this. I guess it's hard to keep up with the comments. You need Blue Harvest chat training. Yeah. Heidi, what do you think about the new Star Wars character that's a rock? All right, so I've not really paid a great deal of attention to this new stuff. It doesn't really interest me, but I would say that the they called the character, I don't know, was it Geode or something? But what really struck me was calling the vessel is just absolutely so lazy, and I don't really know what they're trying to go for. It's not something I'm going to read, so in all honesty, it doesn't really concern me, although I do get a chuckle at some of the comments I read about it. Love the Stand Solo droids. Yeah, I think we all do. Wonderful products. I remember BMX bubblegum in Canada. Cool. I'm glad someone else remembers that. I kept those wrappers somewhere. I'll maybe dig them out for a future video or something, or post them on Twitter. In fact, I think I may have posted them a year or two back. I started out using Twitter and then stopped using it, and only just started again the past couple of weeks. Smash like, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Like. Dr. Dave has a comment. I've got a Bantha with Tusken Raider somewhere in the house. Really? I was under the impression that it was never made before, or could this be like Power of the Force 2 or something, perhaps? Love the random figure reviews. Yeah, I like doing them, and I like the fact that I'm not sort of biased and picking figures I like by doing it randomly. So for me, that's a good way of doing it. 9:30, so that's not too early, actually. 9:30 down under. Interesting. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm heavily connected to Thailand, with my wife being from Thailand, and they are currently 12 hours ahead of us. So for them, it's 3:15 in the morning. So I always assumed that New Zealand was quite not close to Thailand, but in a similar time zone. But obviously, I was completely wrong with that. So that's a good lesson in geography for me there. Will we see any live music from you? Can we make requests? No. That's something I cannot possibly do. It's hard enough to record music, let alone perform it live. So sorry, no requests. Let's see, what's this? You look great and very happy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am. I've come a long way. That's for sure. Me and my dad went halves on a bunch of carded figures over lockdown, included our reuse and ATST driver. Oh, very cool. That's an awesome dad you have, that he's still a fan of the old Star Wars and he's got you into it. That's a fantastic story. I like to hear that kind of stuff. Nice one. How did you get out of a job you hate? Well, that's an interesting one. Actually, I need to focus on these super chats so I don't ignore them. How do I do that? Let's see. Do I go down here? Okay, put it up on screen. This is from Fra Donaghy Music. Thank you for the channel, mate. Best wishes. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Incredible. Oh man, I'm losing track here. What was the question again? Oh, man, this is where. So this is going to be a real learning experience as to what to do and what not to do, because clearly I'm all over the place, and I'm not really getting to many questions, which is a bit unfortunate. So that was. Let me see. You look great. Keep it up. How did you get out the job you hate? Well, long story short, I was going through a bad spell mentally, and I completely flipped out on somebody who had been annoying me for a while, and I basically was told I had to seek mental health treatment, otherwise I wouldn't be allowed to return to work. So I thought, you know what, this is as good a time as any. And I'd also promised myself at the beginning of the year, so this was 2019. So I was 44 years old and I'd been in the same job, I think it was 12 or 13 years. And I said to myself, there's no way I'm doing this job at 45. So it was always my intention to leave, actually. That was pretty much set in stone. I was going to quit prior to my birthday in May. It was April 12. April 12 or April 19, I forget now, but it was a Friday. I flipped out on somebody, was taken to HR, was told you cannot return to work unless you get the treatment of a therapist and a psychiatrist. Oh, excuse me. And I should add as well that at this point, I was not taking any form of medication, because that's a whole other story. Unless you're completely suffering from a psychosis or extremely deranged, in my opinion, medication for those ailments should not be prescribed for depression. And that's what was the case for me. I was given these medicines that were just making me a complete zombie. So I quit those. Anyway, so I was off all medication. So basically I was told, don't come back unless you see a therapist. So I went to see a therapist and psychiatrist. I was given medicine that I did not take. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's not necessarily me that's the problem, it's my environment. So I said to the therapist, I says, you know what? I can't go back to that environment that was just pushing so many buttons. And long story short, I said to my employer, I said, look, I've been off work for, I think it was 3 months. I'm doing so much better. And the reason I'm doing better is because I'm not there. I had to work with so many assholes you wouldn't believe. And I managed to negotiate a deal where they still paid me for an additional 3 months, I think it was. And unfortunately, in that time, we were supposed to go and live in Thailand for 3 months. And we were all set to do that. And then my father passed away. So we had to go to Scotland to deal with that for 3 months. But because I'd managed to clear my head, I wasn't suffering from depression. Yes, I was extremely sad, but I wasn't depressed. And so since then, I don't take any medicines. My head is clear. I'm reasonably positive. I'm reasonably happy, and just thankful to be away from such a toxic situation. So I hope that answers the question. Let me see. So we got that one. Hey, Dean, hope you're well. Yes, I'm very well. So another thing I should point out is I think your name is Luke. I'm used to seeing screen names. I'm not so familiar with people's first names. I think Luke. Yes, I'm very well. Thank you. Hope you are too. How do you gain new skills so you can escape a hell job? I don't know. You just have to, I guess, believe in yourself and do whatever it takes, basically. That's all I can really say. Boys and their toys, it's all good, positive therapy. Yes, it is. And that's another thing I want to mention is that the whole reason this All Things 80s thing came about was it was coinciding with my last day at that job. I realized that something that brought me a lot of pleasure was looking back on childhood. And I had collected bits and pieces my entire life of, science fiction memorabilia, etc., but not to any great extent. It was then 2 years ago that I really got into it, and I can't really put into words the joy I get from just holding something that I remember playing with as a kid or looking back at old TV commercials. It's just a wonderful, wonderful, uplifting experience, and I cannot recommend it enough. It's just a great, great thing. Although you do have to be careful, because sometimes I find myself getting so submerged in the past that I don't want to leave those memories and return to the real world. So it's kind of like a balancing act, but there's definitely positive benefits of looking back at good memories and just trying your best to recreate them. Hey, all chaps in the chat. Jack, Mark, Tesmondo. We got hey, up, look. What items are you still needing for your Kenner Star Wars collection? Well, actually, in terms of figures, I'm almost there. I've just got 3 more last 17 to get. That's God damn it, my mind's gone blank. I know it's 2 of the Ewoks. Barada, that's the other one. Pirate Shirt Boy. So once I get those to coincide with my pre-orders from Stan Solo, that'll give me a complete collection of figures. And from there, I'll consider what vehicles to look at. So yeah, I'm getting there. I mean, it's not. I think I started that. It was round about, I think it was July or June or July of 2019 that I began getting Star Wars figures again. So it's almost 2 years. Hey, look. Great channel. Will you be doing any 80s Skeletrix videos? Oh man, I'd love to. That's something that I remember very vividly from my childhood. It was a pretty basic set. It was the figure 8 set that had I think the tracks would cross over at one point. Was it the 200 set? It had the Formula One car. One was black and one was red. I loved that. I would love to get a Skeletrix set. I do see they have them to this day, but they talk about digital sets. I'm not really sure what that entails, but yeah, I'd love to get Skeletrix again. I started doing Comic Cons and did cosplay as an original Battlestar Galactica pilot, and I find lots of others have the same problem with mental health as me. Quite possible. I think, now, this might be, I wouldn't say controversial, but I find that hobbies like science fiction and to a lesser extent, music, and in particular, heavy metal rock music, it does seem to be a real outlet for people who struggle. I'm not wanting to, suggest that everyone who likes Star Wars has mental health issues, because that's simply not the case. But I think a lot of us found solace in that world far, far away, where we could escape the problems we were facing in the real world and just let our problems disappear as we followed the adventures of Luke Skywalker and his friends. And to a similar extent, I think a lot of people do get a lot out of music, especially when the lyrics are something that you can connect with, because I've certainly had that. It's good to know that there are other people who feel the same as you. And when you know that you're not alone, that's the first step to getting better. So now we have Pontiac Bandit. I like that you enjoy the plastic smell of some toys. I absolutely love the smell of old Topps cardboard cards. Well, that's the thing, because I don't know the exact science behind it, but there is some belief that memories related to smell are some of the most powerful, strongest memories. And there's no question that when you sniff a freshly opened Star Wars figure, the memories just come flooding back. And as I said in the video, was it last week, for whatever reason, the TIE Fighter pilot was the best smelling figure. And just sniffing it, even to this day, the one I have still has that scent to it. It's not as powerful as it was, but it's enough to just take you right back to those days of childhood and sniffing your figures. Quite a weird sort of fetish, some might say, but hey, I like the smell of a new Star Wars figure. Sheltering, don't know what that means. You are spot on. It's Power of the Force. I think it's from the late 90s. Yeah, I thought so. We have, did you have the Panini Return of the Jedi album? No, I did not. And I don't know why not. I'm assuming it would have been sold in the UK. Again, I did a video way back at the beginning of All Things 80s where I got hold of some Topps Duran Duran cards and bubblegum that I never saw as a kid, because I guarantee you, if those were available when I was, 10 or 11 years old, I would have bought them without question. And I have to assume they weren't for sale in the UK, but I'm pretty sure they must have had Return of the Jedi. But for whatever reason, no, I did not have those, which is a bit of a pity. Good memory. Luke is correct. What's it like living in New York City? Well, that's a very good question, because for the first, let me think. I've been living in America since 2000, but permanently since 2003, and started out in New York, then spent some time in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and then back to New York in 2007, I think it was. And in the beginning, it was just a fantastic new world to me. It was every corner I turned was a whole new adventure, and I just felt like I was living in a movie. Laterally, living in New York City sucks, in all honesty. It really does suck. And for example, people have asked me, and I did print off some questions in case no one was commenting, I was being cautious, but there's too much to get to. So one of the questions was, why don't we ever see you sit with your display behind you? The simple reason is I live in a New York City studio apartment and there's no space. I have a couple of bookcases I may do something with and maybe change the scenery from my videos. But sadly, all my stuff is pretty much in boxes because there's just no space here. Due to COVID, we cannot change our situation at the moment. It is our intention to move as soon as we can. And I have told Mrs. 88 that the only request, I have two requests. One is I need a garden. And 2, I need a room that's a dedicated YouTube collection room. And she says, yep, no problem. So that's all good. So as soon as we're allowed to travel again, I'm going to head over to Thailand and take a look there, because I don't know if any of you guys watching this either live in New York or have been to New York, but I think it probably is the most expensive place in the world. And it's not fun at the moment. And like I said, living in a studio apartment, it served its purpose, but right now I need space, I need a garden, and more importantly, I need somewhere to have my collection out on display that can be enjoyed, because right now I have to dig through my plastic bins to get stuff out, and it's not particularly fun. That's not to say that it wouldn't be a nice place to visit. I'm sure if you've never been before and you came to New York, you'd be blown away. But having been here so long, it's all kind of nah to me. Got one here. Do you remember or ever visit the Jolly Giant store in Glasgow? It was like the Playboy Mansion for us toy-loving 70s, 80s kids. No, the reason being I was never in Glasgow until probably my 20s, I think. So no, I didn't see Jolly Giant. Now you've got the G1 bug. What's your next transformer? Well, I just got hold of 3 of them yesterday. So I've got videos for them to be made. I still want to get my Jetfire, but it's just to get one that's not yellow and complete is just so expensive. So that's my dream transformer. I'm thinking I need to get more Decepticons as well, but they're all kind of the same, being the Jets, but not sure. But I do have some videos coming up very soon. Wonderful to see you live. Hope this becomes a regular event here. Congratulations, Dean. Well, thank you, Paul. Very kind of you. Have you ever visited FAO Schwartz in Manhattan? They have an excellent antique section. It's like a wallet killer. You know what? I think I may have been when I first came, but I think that store is long gone, as are most stores, unfortunately. That's another thing I should mention about living in New York. What really sucks for me is, so obviously when I quit that job, with that I returned my lease vehicle, and given the sort of level of civil unrest we've experienced in America in the past year, I've refused to ride the subway. One, it's absolutely disgusting. It's full of bums, drug addicts. It's just not safe. And with all that civil unrest, I don't want to put myself in that environment. So I refuse to ride the subway. No car. So I've been pretty much limited to what's around here. And there are no big department stores. So in terms of buying toys, I have Walgreens, Rite Aid, Duane Reade, which is essentially Walgreens, and the dollar stores. And it's pretty much non-existent for cool collectibles. You will have seen some videos I did where I bought the only Star Wars figure for sale around here, which was the General Veers Black Series. And I did pick up a modern Jetfire, which was absolute garbage. So that's another reason that I'm looking forward to getting out of here. And if we do end up living in Thailand, oh my God, it's a toy collector's dream over there. Sadly, we've not been for 2 years because of, well, my father passing away and then COVID-19. So I've not actually been back to Thailand as a toy collector, which really sucks, because I do remember when we were last there, I guess it was 2 years ago, I remember seeing like all these really cool Transformers. They had a ton of Black Series, which I never paid any great attention to. So when I go back, I'm going to have an absolute blast looking at toys there. Jolly Giant was in Leeds too. I'm assuming it wasn't in Edinburgh, because I'm sure I would have gone had it been. Great. If your partner says no problem to a garden and collection room, keep hold of her. Yeah. Actually, I should mention as well, she has been such a wonderful calming influence on me. Wife number one, we're still friends, but it was quite a back and forth at times, and that wasn't healthy for me. But being from Thailand, just she has such a wonderful personality. And I'm guessing perhaps the Buddhism also adds to that calmness. But I should also mention that if anyone is thinking of going to Thailand, absolutely do it. Now, they call Thailand the land of smiles, but I call it the land of good, polite manners. The people there are just so friendly, so polite, and you feel like an absolute king when you go there. So anyway, moving on. B-Wing Tez, not sure what that means. I got three more Stan Solo droids coming next week. They are brilliant. Yes, they are brilliant. Absolutely puts the big boys, Hasbro, to shame with what they're producing. B-Wing indeed. New York City is just like it's seen on TV, i.e. rats running around and newspapers blowing around, etc. Haha. You're not wrong. Sadly, I have become blind to the garbage on the sidewalks. It was only recently we were walking, and this old lady stopped and says, "Do you see all this garbage? It's disgusting." And only then I looked, I thought, my God, it is disgusting. I had just gotten so used to it. I wasn't seeing the garbage blowing around the streets. It's become a bit of a shithole, to be honest. I don't know why people don't take pride in their surroundings. It's bizarre. Let's see. Oh boy, what's this? Nip of whiskey to take care of those nerves. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't say. Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, I did have a drinking problem. I was drinking way too much, and in the last couple of years, I guess old age caught up with me. I can't do it anymore. I'll take a drink for a special occasion, but no, long gone are those days of 10-hour drinking binges, which looking back was extremely stupid. But I did have some pretty fun times doing it. But no, I'll take a drink now and again, but not like it was. What's this? Stand down, Mark. That's what she said. We all love a good "that's what she said" joke. We got you guys. So I'm thinking, should I read out every single comment, or should I scan for ones that are questions? I don't know. Someone let me know. I saw a question here from Will. You have tickets to any concert in the 80s. Who would you see? And name 3 pieces of clothing you love from the 80s. Good question. So any concert from the 80s. So for 80s, it would be Duran Duran in their primes. That would be like the 1983-84 tour for the Seven and the Ragged Tiger. I would love to have seen that. 80s, I would also want to see maybe Metallica in their early days. I think that would be fantastic. And who else? I don't know. I mean, any number of these great bands, but definitely Duran Duran, Metallica. For a bit of a giggle, I'd love to have seen Pantera when they were like a glam band in the 80s, just to see Vinnie Paul in his spandex and his big poofy hair. That would be quite funny. 3 pieces of clothing you loved. Wouldn't say I loved, but I did feel like, I felt like the guy, like the man, when I had a pair of fluorescent yellow socks. Looking back now, absolutely horrendous, but those were the fashion choices back then. Another thing, fashion-wise, I remember they called them stay press trousers, which I think they were essentially like chino pants. I remember those were a big deal. And another thing was a brand of jeans called Pepe, Now, I remember the jeans themselves were pretty nondescript, but they came with these really cool keychains. So those are 3 pieces of clothing. Went to Edinburgh last year and stayed in the High Street. Great city. Yeah, the High Street's still pretty cool. It's pretty much unchanged. Princess Street, when I was there 2 years ago, terrible now. Of course, there are no record stores. There's no John Menzies. Woolworths was on the east end next to a wimpy burger place. Yeah, I miss those days, that's for sure. Yeah, Gus G says he would scan for questions. I think that's a good idea. Here's one. Is Omega Supreme on your to-get list? Yes, absolutely. Should also stress that I have no desire to get any sort of these modern ones. Having got that one from Walgreens, I was so let down by it. I'm strictly G1, or I should say G1 reissues and Chinese knockoffs, because those are the ones I do remember from childhood. If you had the opportunity to go back in time to the 80s, which year would it be and why? This is like the cop-out answer. I would go back to 1985 to buy all the Powder of the Force Star Wars figures and keep them carded. Bit of a cop-out, but there you go. So Mark from Blue Harvest, he got married in Edinburgh. Interesting. So was it a Scottish lass that you married? I don't know. In fact, are you... I don't know. Are you married still? You know, I don't really know too much on... As I said earlier, I know people by their screen names. I just don't know people on a personal level. Hopefully that will come. Used to go to Jolly Giant Glasgow to see some dodgy 80s celebs. Keith Chegwin, Tony Hart, Paul Daniels, Glenn Michaels, Cartoon Cavalcade. But did he bring Paladin? I think it was Paladin. Wasn't that like the paraffin lamp that would talk? I loved Glenn Michaels' Cartoon Cavalcade. Now, wasn't he Scottish? I think he was. Yeah, I could swear he was. And you met Jimmy Savile. Well, I'm assuming he didn't touch you in any inappropriate ways. Otherwise, you would be traumatized by that. Moving on. Anyway, I bought a lot of eBay, and so far everything is real. I will watch a video I'm making on the Mon, Julpa, and Vlix figures to help me tell if they are real sculpts or fake. Yeah, I've no desire to get into any of those droids or Ewok figures. To me, they do not count as being vintage Star Wars figures. Let's see. Tez says, G1 all the way. Some of the Netflix series issues are good. Recently got my first 86 Jazz, very G1 in style. All right, so maybe I'll check those ones out. So Mark is quarter Scottish. Ex-wife. Okay, now ex-wife lives in Dumfries. Okay. I saw someone there. Traveled back to the John Menzies days. Absolutely. The one in Edinburgh, Princess Street, was a huge John Menzies, and downstairs was the toy department. And as soon as you came down the escalator, on the left-hand wall, it was just an entire wall of Star Wars figures on the pegs. It was overwhelming at times because you had pocket money to buy one figure, and you had basically the entire line for sale at any given time. Wonderful time to be a kid. Let's see. I saw one interesting here. When did you have your last haggis? Probably when I was back in Scotland in 2019. It was a haggis supper. It was a deep fried haggis, and it was glorious. It really was. Man, that's one thing I do miss is the chip shop food. Deep fried battered hamburgers, deep fried pizza. That, honestly, if you've never had deep fried pizza, give it a go. It's just glorious. And if you think about it, the dough from the pizza base absorbs all that glorious oil. Not so good for your heart, but for your taste buds, it's something to be tried and enjoyed. And there we go, Mark saying, I'd kill for a battered haggis. Oh, absolutely. I think my personal favorite is the white pudding, though. Cannot beat that. And also as well, I don't know about England, but in Scotland, on the East Coast, we have salt and sauce with our chip shop food. The West Coast, the Glaswegians, they have salt and vinegar. I'm thinking that perhaps the salt and sauce is a Edinburgh thing, but don't quote me on that. Oh, I saw one here. Did you have a BMX? I had a Mongoose, California. Yes, oh my God. BMXing was a huge, huge part of my childhood. I actually had two BMXs. The first one was Halford's own brand of BMX. It was a Halford's Turbo 20X, which I cycled it for a few years till it just broke. It was used every day. I rode that thing hard. And then I got a Rally Super Tough burner. I think it was Super Tough 2 burner. They had the Skyway wheels. It was the all gold. Loved that. I thought it was the coolest BMX ever until Rally released the Team Burner, which I think to this day is one of the most amazing looking BMX bikes. And that is a grail piece of mine. If I could get hold of a Rally Team Burner or a Skyway BMX, that would really make my day. Let's see. Hamburger supper is best eaten while steaming drunk. I can honestly say I've had many a deep fried hamburger when completely sober and still loved it. I think the doner kebab is the drunk food of choice. Although I should mention a funny story. I was visiting Scotland probably a decade ago now. And prior to leaving for America, my friend and I used to get hammered drunk in a Milnes bar in Edinburgh, which is off Princes Street. I think the name of the street was Hanover Street, perhaps. And we used to walk up the bridges and up to, is it Nicholson Square it's called? Place was Kebab Mahal, I think. And we used to get the doner kebab. And it was wonderful. So anyway, after many years of me living in America, I was over visiting and we got hammered drunk at Milnes as always, walked up to Kebab Mahal and got what we thought was our normal order of doner kebab. And whatever they gave us wasn't doner kebab. And it was the spiciest thing you've ever tasted. So my friend and I went back and says, hey, what's this? This isn't what we ordered. And the guy's like, no, you ordered doner kebab. They give you doner kebab. And then my friend says, come on, it's unedible. Anyway, I like the story. Moving on. Chris Watts had a Team Burner. So just to clarify, this was the one that was mostly white with blue and yellow trim, the white Skyway wheels and the black tires, I believe. That is still my dream BMX. What concert would you have loved to attend that you weren't able to? I've only been able to go to one. It was Def Leppard. Well, honestly, I think I've pretty much seen every band that I want to see, with the exception of AC/DC. I don't know how that one passed me by. I've never seen AC/DC, but aside from that, I've seen them all, really. Someone about John Menzies. I miss John Menzies. I remember going to Tesco in 1983, wall-to-wall Return of the Jedi figures, play sets and vehicles, and a guy dressed as Darth Vader giving autographs. I still live 5 miles away from that Tesco. Yeah, it's hard to put into words just how glorious these stores were back in the day. Obviously, we have this issue nowadays where Hasbro are not fulfilling enough orders and all the stores are completely empty. Certainly not the case back when we were kids. What's this? Hi, Dean. My fave channel. Keep up the good work. From Tamworth, UK. Thank you so much. Tamworth. Is that the home of the band Wolfsbane, whose singer Blaze Bayley went on to sing for Iron Maiden? I think it is. I hope you can let me know. Vintage Toy Rush. Had a blue burner with the yellow skyways as a kid and restored one a couple of years back. Really enjoyable product. Yeah, I'm sure it would be. They still sell BMXs today, obviously, but they're completely different to the ones we had. And I don't know why, but mag wheels do not seem to be in vogue these days. I absolutely love the look of the Skyway. Was it called the Skyway? Let's say Tough. Skyway Toughs, but it was TUFFS, I remember. So Mark Gilks is confirming that, yes, he had the team burner. Wow, you lucky sod. That was, like I said, to me, the coolest BMX ever made. John Menzies again. John Menzies' Air High Street was a favorite. It had it all. Yeah, they did. Again, another thing that's missing these days, vinyl records. I remember buying my singles and albums and cassettes from John Menzies. In fact, my town/village in Scotland was pretty small back then, and we didn't have any big stores. However, because Star Wars was so popular, the newsagents sold Star Wars figures. We had a co-op where the ground floor was a supermarket, and upstairs sold everything from ladies' underwear to carpets and furniture. But they had a toy section, and I got a lot of my Star Wars figures from there. But 2 miles away was a town called Dalkeith, and they had a John Menzies. And I have memories, very vivid memories actually, of buying a lot of my Star Wars toys from that John Menzies and my records. Let's see. Do you reckon you could still do some bunny hops or maybe a curb endo? I can go one better than that. So a couple of years back, my wife and I got mountain bikes so we could cycle about the place. Actually, I'm maybe being harsh on New York. So where we live in Brooklyn, the southern tip, next to the Verrazano Bridge, which goes to Staten Island, there is quite a decent shoreway with a bike track. So we do cycle there. But I still can do the endos. I can still do I guess they call it fishtail. The bunny hops, not so much on a mountain bike. But yeah, it's like, I was going to say, it's like falling off a bike. You always remember how to get back on and as you were. And literally, it was as I was. I hadn't ridden a bike for, 20 plus years. And after 10 minutes, I was back into it and doing or trying to do some of my old stunts. Here's Guy. I've been a patron of your channel for a while now. Love your channel. How many of your Black Series figures have you left? So you're talking about the ones that I've been selling. So, I'm going to take a drink. I've been talking so long. This is the most I've ever spoken in a while. So I got 2 separate batches of Black Series, as you would have seen in my 2 separate videos. I decided I would sell the first batch, and then when that was done, move on to the second batch. And as you will, unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know that Gina Carano got herself into a bit of bother. She's been cancelled. Her figures are no longer being produced. So the Cara Dune figure was in the second batch, but I thought I can't miss this opportunity to cash in. So I did sell her. But the first batch, I'm almost there, actually. I've been keeping score of everything, and I think maybe by 2 or 3 weeks, that first batch will have completely been sold. And once that's been done, I'll then move on to the second batch. I can say from looking at the numbers so far, I'm definitely quids in, and it's something I may continue doing because it's actually quite an enjoyable endeavor. Even though I don't necessarily collect Black Series, I do like looking at them and I do appreciate them. And listing them on eBay, it's not a chore because it's actually quite enjoyable. And actually, I've always enjoyed doing eBay. It's never been a chore for me. And as long as I can keep making more than I spend on these things, to me, it's well worth doing. So this is interesting. So Andy Robb says, my mate used to hide the Star Wars figures under the racking in John Menzies if he couldn't afford to buy the ones he wanted, and they would still be there weeks after. I think people still do that, actually, in Walmart and Target. I saw a video on Twitter, I think it was Super Awesome Geek Show found some figures underneath the racking. Quite funny. Let's see. Were you a heavy metal kid with a denim jacket with band patches on it? Great question. And the answer is no, I wasn't, because I had a very, very strict upbringing and I wasn't allowed anything like that, even though I wanted to. And I was kind of forced towards the nice boy, membership at the golf club type thing. So it was weird because so in high school, I'm there with chino style pants and the Pringle Nick Faldo sweaters, hanging out with the metal kids with the denim jacket and the patches. And it was weird because I had the metal fans. I also had the metal friends and the golf friends. So I always felt I was caught between extremes, and I never really fit well with either group. With the metal fans, sure, I loved the music, but I didn't look like them. And with the golf friends, I keep calling them friends. With the golf friends, I looked like them, but I was all about the heavy metal stuff. So it was rather awkward. So I always wanted a denim jacket with patches on it, but no, I didn't have one, sadly. Let's see, what's this one? I recently found my old Toy Dolls record. Toy Dolls. Now, maybe I'm getting confused here. Were Toy Dolls a band, or are you referring to the single that I think was Cliff Richard and the Young Ones? No, because that was Living Doll. Duh. Okay. It's the Shabby Geek. Thought I'd pop in and say hi. Well, hello, and thank you for stopping by. Are any of your Black Series keepers? Well, that's a very good question. And I was going to do a whole video on this, but I may as well spill the beans now. Initially, yes, some were keepers, in as much as I was going to start a Mandalorian Black Series collection, because within the two batches I bought, there were the Cara Dune figure and there was the Off-World Jawa. So I thought, okay, that's a decent basis to start collecting Black Series if I only stick to the Mandalorian, because it would be impossible to really make a collection for all the figures I'd ever want. So I thought, if I keep it to one line, I can probably do this. So I began looking into getting the other Mandalorian Black Series figures. And as I mentioned, there are no stores I can go to, although I have been embarrassing myself at Walgreens. I was going in there every day to the toy section to try and see if they had them, because I was aware that some Walgreens did have the Mandalorian Black Series figures. And it got to the point where I didn't want to walk in and not buy something, so I'd end up buying a candy bar or something. And obviously I would enter my points membership into the register to get points. And the lady that worked there obviously saw my name pop up, so now she knows me on first name terms, which I'm rather embarrassed by. So anyway, no figures for sale in my neighborhood, and I'm well aware of the problems with pre-orders and online sales, where it's not uncommon to place a pre-order and then have that pre-order cancelled, but the store is still selling them in their stores. I thought, you know what, don't want that headache. So because of that, I will not be keeping any of them, which is a shame, because I do like the look of these Mandalorian Black Series. But if I have the money, I want to give to the company to buy them, but they won't let me buy them. Screw that. I'm not getting involved in that. So yeah, so no Black Series for me, I'm afraid. What's this? Lucy C. Hi. You've inspired. I'm sounding more and more New York. You're inspired. Hi. You've inspired my boyfriend to create an 80s style man cave with a lot of Star Wars and 80s memorabilia. Awesome. That's what it's all about. And there's no shame in putting your collection out on display. It's if it brings happiness and joy, that's what it's all about. They made the song Nelly the Elephant. No. Well, Toy Doll. Yes. Yep. Got it now. That was like this weird, wasn't it like a weird sort of nursery rhyme? And then it progressed and progressed into like punk rock. And it had a huge bill, like, oh, Nelly the Elephant. Yeah. I remember that now. That must have been what? Very early 80s. Like 81, 82, something. Yeah. And Mark says, needs to be on display. Well, that's it. And that's why I'm having such a hard time living in this tiny goddamn apartment. I do have potential for a couple of Detolf cases, but I am thinking that if we do move reasonably soon, there's no point buying glass cases to either try to ship them or get rid of them. Yeah, I've got all my music stuff on the walls, which I'm actually fed up looking at. It's been so long looking at the same things. When I do get a collection room, depending on its size, I may switch up what's on display from month to month to keep it fresh. But certainly what I have right now, whereby I keep everything or most things are in storage bins, it's not particularly fun. And I do have the bookcases that if I clear out some space, I may well put some stuff on display there and film more videos with that as a backdrop, which might be interesting. So let me see, what do we have here? More questions. Actually, this is weird. It's strange how YouTube is so far ahead of the StreamYard. Also should mention, you'll see up in the top corner, where is it? Up here, right there, the StreamYard watermark. I'm just running this on the free version to see how it goes. And if I like what I see, I'll probably upgrade to a more custom one. Are you getting the slave Leah from Stan Solo? Absolutely. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? And the thing I like about Chris Smith is that he takes no bullshit, and he's quite happy to put on the packaging slave Leia, something which I'm sure Hasbro would not be open to doing. So it's good to see a maker with the balls to go ahead and do that. And I'm sure as well, having a scantily clad female figure will not be looked upon too kindly by certain parts of society, but who cares what they think? Besides Star Wars Black Series, is there anything else modern you collect? Not really. It's funny, as I sit here saying that, I'm looking up. I'll try and describe this as best I can. So, as I said, my wife is Thai and she's Buddhist, and she has many Buddhist artifacts in a small display area. One of which is a fairly new thing, which is a statue of a little boy whose name I think is Kai, and he can grant your wishes as long as you keep him happy, I think. I mean, I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but my understanding is if you keep this little boy happy, he will make you happy. So she buys him toys and snacks and things. And we have a set of Marvel superhero adventures little cars, which actually do look quite cool. It's got Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Hulk, etc. But not my collection, but yeah. So no, I don't really collect anything modern, unfortunately. What's this? What's your top 5 Star Wars figures and why? That's, that's not something I really think about too often. I just enjoy them all. But if I had to pick, obviously TIE Fighter Pilot for the smell. It's just incredible, really is. Plus it looks cool. I do love the AT-AT driver, and I do stress, I do pronounce that as AT-AT. I had some clown on one of my videos telling me I was wrong and it is AT-AT, but no, it's AT-AT. So the AT-AT driver is another favorite of mine. Obviously, I think everyone agrees that the Bespin look is just one of the best figures ever. I also do like the Jedi look, because I do have a special story behind that one that I'm sure you've all heard. What was it? Top 5? What's that? 3 or 4? That's 4, isn't it? Another one that I do like. Actually, I really do like the Emperor's Royal Guard. I think that's a stunning figure, even though you don't actually see the figure itself, but the way it was presented with all that cloth just looked glorious. Let me see. Got one from Tez here. What's this? I don't have much room in my Roland's man pit. As long as we both keep making videos, that's the best way to display our toys. Our YouTube videos will probably outlive the toys themselves. Yeah, it's a good point. With YouTube, in fact, the internet being a fairly new concept, I'm wondering if in like 100 years' time or 200 years' time, the space aliens will click on our videos and say, wow, what are these guys doing? That'd be interesting. I'd love to know that, actually. Do you think people will still be watching YouTube in 100 years' time? Who knows? So this looks interesting. Recently discovered the Diamond Select brand. Just got the superb Black Hole Vincent Maximilian set. Do you have a fave brand or just go with whatever looks good regardless? Yeah, I have no loyalty to any brands, none whatsoever. If it looks good, I'll buy it. Simple as that, really. Diamond Select, I do remember admiring their Star Trek stuff a number of years ago, but never actually bought any. But there is one brand that is sorely tempting me, but it's too expensive, and that is the Hot Toys. I have the vintage colored Boba Fett, which is just a stunning figure. The human faces they do are just incredible, and it's tempting me, but from a financial standpoint, it's not at all practical. I am sort of swearing over getting the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, and when they finally release it, the Bespin look, I think those two together would look stunning. But again, it's a rabbit hole that once you go down, it quickly sucks you in. So I'm still sort of backing off from that. Let's see. Besides Star Wars and Transformers, what other toys do you collect from the 80s? Good question. And lately, I've been gathering a lot of Corgi superhero vehicles. Sadly, it's Corgi Juniors at this point, but those were toys that I had as a kid that preceded Star Wars. And I have great, great memories of playing with my Batman, Spider-Man, Superman Corgi toys. And the Corgi Juniors are still reasonably priced to get them, and I've been collecting those the past couple of months with a view to doing a video on that. And ideally, I'd like the full-size Corgis, but sadly, the Batmobile that I have great memories of. In fact, I actually had 2 of those as a kid. I think it was Christmas 80 or 81, excuse me, where I managed to get not 1 but 2 of the Batmobiles. I remember getting one set of the 3, which was the Batmobile, the Batcopter, and the Batboat with trailer. And I also got an individual Batmobile. And those were such well-made toys. the workmanship that went into those is second to none. And the fact that so many still exist to this day is testament to that. The problem being that the nice ones, the mint and box ones, the prices are astronomical. The cheapest I've found for the Batmobile is about $500, and I can't justify paying that for a die-cast car. But yeah, so Corgi I'm collecting, the obviously Star Wars, G1 Transformers, and Mask. Mask to me is a somewhat bittersweet toy line because it was the last toys I ever bought as a kid. And some might say I was probably too old to be buying toys at that point, but to me it was like, nah, I could never shake that desire to buy toys. So I was still I actually was in high school, either late into first year or into second year, that I was still buying Mask. And the Condor was the last toy I ever bought as a kid. So I got one of those recently, and it was such a nice thing to see again. So yeah, so Mask is something that I do collect. So Mark is on the waiting list for the Empire Vader. Now, this is what's interesting to me. I don't really understand the difference between Hot Toys and Sideshow. I know that I purchased my Boba Fett. It was on the Sideshow website, but I'm sure it's a Hot Toys. And I've seen on that very same website, you can still buy the Darth Vader, and people have it up for sale on eBay. So I'm not sure if the UK has a different way of distributing those. I don't know. Let's see. So Mark again, he worked at Palatoy for the day, valuing the local toys. Yeah. Now that you mentioned Palatoy, that's a very interesting word for me. So obviously, having grown up in the 80s, my Star Wars toys were Palatoy. Palatoy also responsible for the Action Man I grew up with. And Palatoy plus Corgi being British companies, living in America, it's so hard to get hold of these things. The ones that are for sale in America are few and far between. The ones that are for sale in the UK, whilst there's a lot more of them, the cost of shipping to America is completely cost prohibitive. It's absolutely ridiculous. To give you an example, I just bought, I think it was yesterday, Corgi Junior's Spider-Man van. So the van itself, it's mint on cards. So we'll be generous and say the card back is 4 inches by 5 inches. It only weighs a few ounces. It's costing, I think it cost me something like $35 in shipping from the UK to New York. It's just ridiculous. And it's unfortunate because I want to get Action Man, but again, America's all G.I. Joe. So the UK, the shipping thing it's just too much. And another thing I want are the comics and magazines from childhood. Smash Hits, #1 magazine, the weird Duran Duran limited edition magazine, Dandy, Beano, plus the Action Force comics, etc. They have them for sale on eBay UK, but again, it's something like $22 to ship a magazine. Shipping has gone through the roof. It's also made selling on eBay that bit more difficult because some of the big sellers, they can afford to offer free shipping. I simply cannot. So I've found that to sell one Black Series figure, the cheapest shipping is about $4.50 or $4.60. So I have to charge any potential buyers at least that much. And it makes my selling price less desirable when you have some of the bigger guys who can give you free shipping. So the cost of shipping, I guess the whole world is experiencing this, but it's gone through the roof, and it's made operating a small business that much more difficult. So Biker Scout, asking, how did an Edinburgh lad end up in New York? Simple, really. Wife number one was from New York, who happened to be traveling in Scotland with her friend. And I think I told this story before in a video, but it's worth sharing again. The reason I am here right now is because George Lucas made a pretty awful Attack of the Clones movie. So let me explain. So it was May of 2002, and my friend and I at work were big Star Wars fans, and the intention was finish work, go see Attack of the Clones once, and then watch it again immediately afterwards. So we got there, watched it once, looked at each other and said, what the hell was that? Let's go to the pub. So we watched it once, thought it was crap, went to the pub, Milne's Bar, and we were there and drinking away. We heard these American accents. So I guess with the confidence that came with drinking, approached these girls, got talking, exchanged emails. A few months later, one of the girls was coming back to the UK. So I said, hey, if you're coming to the UK, why not come up to Scotland? So she did, and we went to Amsterdam together for the weekend, which was interesting. And then that was it. So we got married in 2004, I think it was. And that lasted until 2008. But I was here, and, you know, I thought, I'm not going to go back to Scotland. I was somewhat settled here. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up here. So thank you, Gordon Lucas. Thank you, George Lucas, for making a terrible movie that allowed me to end up in America. Let's see. So Mark again, he just bought a Kenner Knight Rider kit for, okay, so he bought it for £36 and had to pay £70 for shipping and taxes. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's making collecting things become not much fun. You're paying twice the amount for shipping than the actual item is costing. It's not on. You know, like I said, paying like $30-some to ship a goddamn Corgi Junior's vehicle is absolutely ridiculous. But sadly, I had no choice because the Spider Van is like the rarest of these Corgi Juniors, and there were none for sale in America, and there was one for sale in the UK, I believe. The one I got was actually from Italy. So yeah, it's not cool. Here's one. Got a big pile of smash hits from 88 and 90. Bros and Jason Donovan, anyone? Yeah. I'm going to do a video talking about my musical journey in the 80s, and sadly, Bros does feature. I remember it would have been 88, and it was a school trip to the French Alps, and Bros was all the rage at the time. So all the girls wanted to play their Bros cassette on the school bus. So I listened to Bros for like a week straight. And whilst the music itself didn't really appeal to me, I got it into my head that if I said I was a fan of Bros, some of these girls would be then into me. So I actually bought the cassette. I think it was called Push. A couple of the songs are all right, but sadly, just by having the cassette did not make me more attractive to those girls. But anyway, Jason Donovan, actually, I was always jealous of him because he got it on with Kylie in Neighbours. And yeah, very jealous. Although thinking back to Neighbours, I always remember the one that Guy Pearce ended up with. I think her name was Jane. It was like Mrs. Mangle's niece or granddaughter or something. And I always remember it was one of the most obvious, how do I say? Basically, they had her as this like really boring bookworm type girl, but you could tell she was smoking hot, but they gave her like the horrible haircut, the big thick rimmed glasses, horrible clothes. And I guess it was the prom or something, and Kylie made her up, and she was absolutely stunning. And thereafter, she became, I think she was called Plain Jane Superbrain, if I remember rightly. But yeah, She ended up stunning, probably more attractive than Kylie, if I'm being honest. And then there was also Home and Away. I remember some of those chicks were pretty hot as well. Yeah, those were good times. I see it there, Plain Jane. Plain Jane Superbrain. Oops, hit the wrong thing there. Plain Jane Superbrain. Yeah, it's amazing how we remember these things. This is like, 3 decades ago, and it's right in there. I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember Plain Jane Superbrain. Let's see what else. Oh, Stock, Aitken, and Waterman. Absolutely. I was going to say they ruined music, but they actually, looking back on it now, what they did was, it was pretty catchy. There's no getting around that. I've actually been studying a lot of old music stuff for something that's coming up this summer. And in doing so, I've been watching a lot of old Top of the Pops episodes. And it's interesting to see how music progressed through the decade, because we always talk about 80s music, but there is no such thing as 80s music, because the decade went from being, in the beginning, it was still disco and a bit of punk left over. And towards the end, it was like acid house. And Stock, Aitken, and Waterman, of course, produced a lot of catchy, toe-tapping hits. Not a great deal of substance behind them, but nevertheless, they were pretty good songs. Let me see. Andrew Bennett says, "Hi, love your channel. Always pictured you in Scotland and then realized you're in New York. What took you to the States?" Oh, I've just answered that. So if you missed it, you can watch this again when we're finished here. Blue Snaggletooth, are you a Beatles fan? I'm going to be honest and say, nope. I don't care for the Beatles. I know that's a horrible thing in some people's eyes, but the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, and Rush, I don't particularly like. I know some people love these bands. I don't really get the hype, if I'm being honest. That's not to say they're terrible, but no, I've never really taken to the Beatles. I guess because my first exposure to music was Adam and the Ants, and that became my standard. The flashy videos and the sort of rockier side of things. I never particularly gravitated towards the sort of the Beatles or Stones. Here's one that looks interesting. Do you remember Nightmare? I never forget running home from school to watch it on Fridays. Now that, I'm thinking, would have been an ITV show. If I remember rightly, I was pretty much strictly children's BBC with Philip Schofield with his hand up that gopher's arse, Gordon the Gopher. And then it was Andy Crane with something else. Gordon the Gopher and something. Anyway. So yeah, I do remember Nightmare. Now, was that like a video game that the kid was actually part of? But yeah, I think that was ITV, so I wouldn't have seen too much of it. So Dr. Dave, he saw Adam Ant live a couple of years ago. He was awesome. Yeah, you know what? The question earlier was, what concerts do you wish you'd been to? I wished I'd seen Adam Ant. And I know that he played New York a few times in recent years, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to go. But yeah, he is awesome. And he's also another mental health survivor, ambassador type person. So a lot of what he says is if you are struggling, go on YouTube, look up an Adam Ant interview, because he talks about it. He's straight as well. So he's like straight talker about the subject. Nothing's off limits. So ask him, or don't ask him, but watch what he's saying. What's this? Would you rather see live Duran Duran or Depeche Mode? Or Duran Duran. I never really liked Depeche Mode too much growing up. I've since began to appreciate their sound, and I do listen to their stuff now and again. But oh no, for me, Duran Duran was just, still is one of my favorite bands. Let's see. What's this? The Rewind 80s music festivals are big in the UK with some superb acts. Human League, OMD, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Kim Wilde. We do Perthshire. You ever hit these retro gigs? Always a good laugh. No, but I'd love to. And just seeing Kim Wilde, she's one of the few specimens I think has gotten more attractive with age. When she was singing Kids of America, she was all right looking, but not necessarily that attractive to me. When I see her nowadays, it's like boing, like wow, that is something I would definitely enjoy spending time with, shall we say. Yeah, I do like a bit of Kim Wilde. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, but is that with or without Holly Johnson? Didn't he leave the band and they got someone else to sing? I don't know. But yeah, I'd love to go to one of those 80s things. And there we got confirmation that it was indeed Ed the Duck and Andy Crane. Yeah, Andy Crane and Ed the Duck. So it was Philip Schofield, Gordon the Ghost. Gotcha. Where am I? Oh yeah, that was in Nightmare. This is good. How's your mask collection going? Not bad. And thanks to Will in New Zealand, it's going a lot better than it was. And I'm pleased to say I finally got the stickers for the Outlaw truck. They arrived from Australia 2 days ago. So hopefully I'm going to film part 2 tomorrow and get that one edited together. The chrome pen I used, the Molotov liquid chrome, it actually worked too well on that front bumper. It looks amazing, but because that looks so amazing, all the other chrome parts don't look quite so good now. So bit of a dilemma there. Do I do the whole thing with this liquid chrome, or do I just accept that the bumper is slightly brighter than the rest of it? So that's coming very soon. So right now I got, let me think. So I've actually got the Rhino, the Outlaw, Condor. I think the other one I've got is Vampire and Raven. And the other one, the ATV that I forget the name of. It's getting there. And I actually had quite a few of the figures. As I said earlier, I've only become a serious collector these past couple of years, but I always dabbled now and again. And probably a decade ago, I did buy some Mask figures, the ones I had as a child. So yeah, the collection, it's going. It's not too bad. It's getting there. Trying to see where we're going here. Okay. Andrew asks, what's your favorite Duran track? Well, it's really hard to pick one. The one that means a lot to me is Hungry Like the Wolf, simply because it's the only song in the whole world that I can perform every part for, except sing. Well, I could sing it, but it would sound awful. Of all the songs that were ever written in the world, that's the one song that I'm able to play everything. So for that reason, I love the song. But I actually like some of the more deeper cuts, especially off the first album. Things like Anyone Out There, Friends of Mine, and Rio. Obviously, all the singles were just classic songs, but things like New Religion are great. And off Seven in the Ragged Tiger, there's one song that's heavy as hell for a pop band. It's called Of Crime and Passion. It was the last song on side A. And I think it's just an amazing rock pop song. So yeah, it's hard to pick one, but those are a few of my favorite Duran Duran songs. Toya Gets Better with Age. No, I'm sure you're referring to her weekly Sunday lunch videos. And again, this is what bothers me about YouTube. You see, as guys, we are at a huge disadvantage in terms of getting views, because if we were to get our schlongs out, we'd be immediately banned, never to be seen again. Whereas women, who have a nice rack, they can basically get them out without getting them out, and that just attracts a million views. Now Toya she is looking good, and I'm having to assume that her rack has been surgically enhanced, because I don't believe a 60-year-old woman can have such glorious jugs as that. But I do agree with you. She does look really good. And yet another one, has gotten much better with age. So I guess the ultimate three-way would be myself, obviously, Toya, and Kim Wilde. What synth is on your ultimate wish list? Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm not particularly well versed with all the different models, but I guess like the Roland Jupiters that Nick Rhodes used back in the early 80s, I'd love to get hold of one of those, but whether or not you find one that works these days is another matter. Oh, another one. Sam Fox in that era. Yeah, but she looks terrible nowadays. She looks awful, in fact. She looked stunning back then, no question, but she's gone, well, she's gone in reverse, but she's gone the way you're supposed to go, where as you age, you get worse looking. The other two have gotten better with age. What's this? Hopefully, Marty, are you Scottish? Kim Wilde makes me boiling as well. Boing, boing. Oh yeah, boing. Yeah, she is. She's beautiful. Clearly a synth appreciator. Yeah, I am. Let's see. That's great. Love to see your math video. Yeah. So, like I said, part 1 is up, where I gave the Outlaw a good clean, got all the stickers off, and worked out what I needed to replace. So I've got all the replacement parts. I've got the stickers. So hopefully tomorrow, get that filmed, and we can move on with part 2. Yep. Mask Firefly coming your way too. What's your best Thai dish? Good question. Actually, it's too easy to say pad Thai. But my favorite dish isn't necessarily a dish as such. It's the way in which the dish is prepared. Let me explain. My favorite place to eat in the whole wide world is this place they call Borgung, which is basically means shrimping. And it's a restaurant where in the middle of the restaurant is this giant pool that's filled with live shrimp. And for about $3, you get a fishing rod with a line, hook, and bait. And whatever you catch, they will cook for you. And the shrimp are like massive. They're like, 6 inches long. So for $3, you can catch easily 5 or 6 of these in an hour. So it's just, I think it's a novelty for me, but I think it's pretty awesome that you actually get to eat what you just caught. So that is my favorite dish, these grilled massive shrimp. That's like a contradiction, isn't it? A massive shrimp. But anyway, this is, Toya's racks are a mystery. Yeah, they are. Now, the video I just saw, where she wore the sheer black top with the tape over her doodads, you could see the whole thing, and there's no way that's a natural chest of a 60-year-old lady. I'm sorry, but, they want to be, it's Terry Nunn. The name rings a bell, but I'm not getting any image. I need more information on that. What do you like better, Star Wars or Star Trek? Now, that's a very, very interesting question, because as a kid, I definitely saw way more Star Trek than Star Wars, simply because Star Trek was on the TV every week. Star Wars, however, was only on TV on like very special occasions like Christmas time. So I would see Star Trek every week, loved Star Trek. But with the advent of the VHS and being able to rent the movies, realized quickly that Star Wars was far better than Star Trek. Then, in the early to mid 90s, when Star Trek was doing its thing with Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, and those were on TV again every week, sometimes twice a week, I began to really enjoy Star Trek more. But laterally, I back to Star Wars. But yeah, they're both equally good, both brilliant shows. Duran Duran were like action heroes to me as a kid because of their videos. Wild Boys, New Moon on Monday, etc. Well, that's exactly right. And that's probably why when I was 6 or 7, I got into Adam and the Ants, because he was this swashbuckling dandy highwayman slash pirate slash, I was going to say Red Indian, but you can't say that, slash Native American. He was like smashing through the windows of the castle or swinging on chandeliers. It was like, he was an action hero. And I guess first and foremost, I was attracted to the visuals and then began to enjoy the music. But yeah, all these bands did great videos back then. And it's very much an art form that's probably lost, because I'm sure everything these days is all just computer generated videos. Honestly, I've not watched a music video or a new music video for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Andrew again. How upset were you when you watched The Last Jedi? How long did it take to get over it? I still haven't moved on. Yeah. Oh my God. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching. You know, the whole time for The Force Awakens was that build up to seeing Luke Skywalker again. And I thought, yep, this movie, it's going to be all action packed, Luke Skywalker at his best. And when he tossed that lightsaber over his shoulder, I'm like, what the hell is this? And then from there on, some of the dialogue was horrendous. The Poe Dameron, what was the joke? Like, oh, I've got your mom on the phone or something. But that doesn't belong in Star Wars. And then, of course, the way that they killed off Luke Skywalker, oh my God, the whole thing was a letdown. And I've not really, have I moved on? I guess so. I just don't really watch those movies again. At least we got a bit of redemption in The Mandalorian. Did you ever watch Monkey? It was usually on BBC Two on Sunday around 6. So yes, I did watch Monkey. Absolutely loved the show. And I'm glad to hear there's a new version on Netflix, which is something I'll definitely have to check out. I was not aware of that. So thank you so much for telling me, because Monkey was a great show. Wasn't it like, and the cloud would appear and he would ride on the cloud. And wasn't there a character that was a male character, but it was played by a bald female, who I think was quite beautiful as well, actually. Let me see. Andrew again. Have you seen the documentary? Yes, I have. Very enjoyable. Do you still play just for fun gigs? Yeah, just for fun. I amuse myself sometimes. I still, whilst they're not particularly great examples, any music in my videos, be it the intro thing or music when there's, fast forwarding, unboxings, whatever, I do that myself just to avoid any copyright issues. Yeah, but no gigs, nothing other than a bit of fun. Let me see. Here's Robbie. All right, calm down. I'm here now. What did I miss? Sips coffee. 7:38 a.m. on Friday. Good to see you, Robbie. So it's amazing just how connected we all are with these channels, that we have people from all corners of the world who share a passion for the 80s or for the toys or for the music, all connected thanks to the internet. It's a wonderful thing, really is. Let me see. Tripitaka was played by one of Japan's top. Yeah, okay, Tripitaka. Yep, she was beautiful. Now, didn't she die rather young? I think so. Let me see. Will you do a countdown for Christmas again? Really enjoyed that. How the hell do you remember these things you got so vividly? Well, I'll do something similar for Christmas again. Obviously, I can't repeat what I just did. The reason I remember, I believe that, so let me explain this. Up until the start of high school, I had the most wonderful, wonderful childhood. When I started high school, that's when my problems began with all the bullying and all that crap. And I don't have such vivid memories through high school because I think I was trying to subconsciously erase the horrible time I had, whereas the earlier years were so wonderful that they're etched in my brain forever. And as I said, it's amazing I can think back clear as day to something that happened in 1980, whereas I can't remember what I did yesterday. So yeah, that's how I remember these things. This is interesting. Palatoy or Kenner Death Star? Interesting. Given that I never had either, never actually been in the same room as either. I have to say the overall size of the Palatoy is indeed quite impressive. However, as a child, I remember having other cardboard play sets and being somewhat disappointed with them. So if I had to choose, this might be controversial, but I would probably choose a Kenner Death Star. What else? What's this? What are your thoughts on the Mandalorian finale with Luke Skywalker? I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was everything the sequels should have been. Just to see our hero, and he is our hero, because those of us that grew up watching Return of the Jedi as a child, that was our hero. And the way he was treated in those sequels was just diabolical. Just to see him come out there in his prime with his green lightsaber, no less, was just such redemption. And that went a long way, in my opinion, to kind of making up for the disaster of those sequels. All right. I saw one that's interesting here. Dr. Dave. No, so Marty is saying to Dr. Dave, I expected to hear some Scottish phrases tonight. Toya's ditties wasn't one of them. So I guess I missed that in the comment. Ditties, yeah. Actually, now this is interesting for you. So I actually use a lot of Scottish phrases as code words in America because people have no idea what they mean. So I've also taught them to my wife. And so, for example, I suspect that my wife is the only Thai girl who refers to ladies' sanitary products as being fanny pads, and also probably the only Thai girl, or in fact American girl, actually no, because the first wife knew this one, but she's the only Thai girl who knows what a jobby is. And I'm not sure if any of you other guys out there know what a jobby is, but I'm sure a fellow Scot will address this in the comments. So yeah, I still use a lot of Scottish words. I also so we've all been wearing masks this past year, and I've developed a very, very bad habit of mouthing off at people because they can't see what I'm, and my use of the C word is actually out of control, and really need to rein that in because I find myself saying it all the time, like under my breath. And obviously people can't see it because of the mask. So I need to stop saying that, because that's a great Scottish word. But it's not a Scottish word, but the way the Scots people use it is absolutely fantastic. Dr. Dave got it right. So those of you that were asking what a jobby is, well, Dr. Dave there has given you your answer. And there's Biker Scout. Yeah, great big jobby. Actually, Billy Connolly does a great sketch about jobbies. It's kind of like a two-part sketch. I think it's from the 70s. It might be called the Jobby Wheeker. And wheeker is another Scottish word. Wheek is like move swiftly, wheek. So he's talking about bathrooms on airplanes, but he moves on the train. And this is something I'm sure we can all relate to about public restrooms. He says, you go into the stall of the public restroom, lift the seat, and there it is, looking at you, a wee beige jobby. So jobby is a great word. I highly recommend you add it to your vocabulary. It's great. I see another great comment here. It's Andrew again. I love the fact that I've joined this while talking tits. Yeah, who doesn't like tits? Tits, jugs, they're all good words, I guess. Biker Scout asking, is it Baltic in New York at the moment? Actually, it has been Baltic solidly since mid-November, but this week it's been pretty mild, actually. So I've managed to dispense with the heavy winter coat. Excuse me. Been wearing a much lighter jacket lately, so it's been pretty decent. This looks good. If you had a time machine, what would you buy in an 80s toy store? Well, I kind of addressed this earlier. So answer A would be go back, purchase all the last 17 Star Wars figures, keep them mint on card, bring them back and sell them for vast amounts of money. However, for my personal benefit, something I would buy, something I always wanted, I guess. I don't know. Big Track. Probably more Evel Knievel, actually. I'd love to bring those back to the present day. I saw one here. Yep, this is Biker Scout. The C word is a term of endearment here in Scotland. Yeah, it's used as a term of endearment and the way it should be used. But yeah, it slips out my tongue so easily these days. Also, as well, I think I've been pretty well behaved tonight, because if you were ever to see me filming a YouTube video, I guarantee you the F word is used more than the words Star Wars or toy. It's pretty bad, actually. I do have some blooper reels on Patreon if anyone's interested, because I'm not very professional when doing videos. What's this? I love the eyesight test gag that Billy did with the jobby and the violin kit. Right, I've not seen this. But okay, this is why that word is so amazing. Just reading that line, a jobby in the violin case, has got me laughing. Can't beat it. So, holy crap, we've got 61 people watching. I'm amazed by that. So this is Will again. So a Toltoy's Death Star is his holy grail. Now, would that be the cardboard one? So Toltoy's was what the Australia, New Zealand distributor of Kenner products. I don't know. Can someone let me know, is the Toltoy's Death Star cardboard or plastic? No, you're no rang. This is some great Scots stuff here. That's like here's a joke for you. So you're looking at a plate of desserts, and you could say, is that a donut or a meringue? Only Scots people will get that joke, I'm sure. Oh yeah, this is good. I'm ashamed to have only realized just how hot Linda Carter was from Wonder Woman series. What's your views? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember watching that. I think it used to be aired on a Friday in the UK in the early 80s. In fact, Friday night was a time slot for American shows. I always remember Starsky and Hutch, Kojak, Wonder Woman, Dallas, Dynasty. Yeah, so yeah, oh yeah, she was absolutely stunning. What's this? Hang on, this is, we say fit like Maloon. Fit like, yeah, because Biker, aren't you from Aberdeen up north? I seem to remember you saying that. But yeah, so let me see any more good questions here. Okay, not bad. I'm hoping I addressed most of the questions. I have to say it's been overwhelming to see so many people commenting, and it's been very difficult to keep up with things, but I think I've done not too badly. So let me see, what's this? Can you remember the Box of Delights from 84? Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember that. Actually, on the All Things 80s Facebook page, I posted a cover of the Radio Times back then advertising the Box of Delights, and that brought back a lot of great memories. All Things 80s. Joe Exotic. Is mayonnaise an instrument? I don't know what that means. Is mayonnaise an instrument? You'll have to elaborate. Another for the Scots. How do you know posh burglars have robbed your house? There's a key on the living room flare. Oh boy. So Will has answered the question about the tall toys. Same as a Palatoy, so it's a cardboard Death Star. That's pretty interesting. So, like I said, I do like the sheer scale and the play value of the cardboard one, but I think, given my experience as a kid with cardboard play sets, I do prefer Palatoy, but who knows? Excuse me. Hang on. So this is an answer here. That's what she said. So that's talking about the mayonnaise. What am I missing the joke here? Is mayonnaise an instrument? Maybe I'm being thick here, but I'm not getting the joke. Let's see. What's this? Andrew Bennett again. I have a mint in box manta from Mask. And then he says, would you allow me to send to you for review and keeping? Well, absolutely. If that's incredibly generous. If you want to send it, I would gladly do a video of that. So it looks as if the Tall Toys Death Star is between $2,000 and $2,500 for a cardboard playset. That's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's quite amazing just how valuable these toys from our childhood have become. People have often said, oh, if I'd known back then what I know now, I would have kept my toys in package. Well, to me, that's stupid, because they were toys, they were meant to be played with. And if you got enjoyment playing with those toys, then to me, that's worth more than what you could sell them for these days. I've always maintained that toys are to be played with. They should not be viewed as a vehicle for investment, in my opinion. If you want to invest your money, there are better things to invest in. Toys should be enjoyed. Let's see. Is Joe Exotic again? What's this? All Things 80s. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Was that the SpongeBob, is it? Something I've never actually watched. How do I send to you? Brilliant to incorporate my collection into your videos. Go on to Twitter or Facebook and you can message me. I think I have some things here. So that's Twitter at 80s_all. And then we have Facebook is 8080s, but just type in all things 80s and you'll see the same logo, the green circle. So that's me. So that'd be wonderful if you were to do that. I can do a great video for you. What's this? One of my favorite things you do, and reason I found your channel, is your 80s catalog reviews, especially when you see the prices. Any plans for more? Yep, I'll do more of those for sure. Oh, you're right. The prices are just mind-blowing, especially the big franchises like the Star Wars, the He-Man, Action Force, etc. They were selling like 4 packs of figures for like £4 or something. It's obscene. Let's see. So Mark is saying, I collect for nostalgia reasons. Exactly. That's exactly what it's all about. Nostalgia. I know that for anyone that doesn't know this, Mark and I crossed paths sometime earlier last year, I believe, over the fact that I'd opened a vintage figure. We've resolved our differences, obviously, as you can see, because we're chatting here. But for me, I wanted to open those figures because it allowed me to recreate something I did back as a child. And there's just something quite therapeutic about doing that. And as has been said before, people that collect with a view to making money on the collection, they're not enjoying the collection. How can you enjoy something if you only see it in dollar or pound signs? For me, I see it as a memory, and I just enjoy holding these toys, playing with them. And in the case of Transformers, I actually will often sit and just transform back and forth. It just gives me a lot of joy, to be honest. Let's see. Great stream. Got to go for now. Take care. Well, thanks, Dave. Thank you for stopping by. Some great comments from you, especially about the jobbies. Do you think kids will ever get into action figures again? Probably not. They all have their cell phones and iPads to keep them amused. No reason for them to use their imaginations anymore. So, I think physical toys is definitely something that's dying, which is unfortunate. Well, up until say 4, 5, 6-year-olds, I think, can still enjoy toys, but thereafter, they're all playing electronic stuff. Did you find any fish and chips in the Big Apple? Well, actually, yeah, I have done, and they're a complete joke. I found one that claimed to be a British chip shop, and it was just American franchise food in the guise of a chip shop. And by that, I mean like a TGI Fridays or Applebee's type place. There was nothing authentic about it, and it sucks. They cannot do fish and chips to save themselves. I've rarely had a decent fish and chips in America. I'd love to find one, but sadly, it's not the case. Kenner Centurions, nope, never got into those. Let's see. Thought your Christmas 80s videos were great. Got me through the COVID. Oh, glad you enjoyed them. That was the point. Let's see. What's this? Is this the real life? This is just fantasy. Yeah. Actually, seeing that and the talk of Scottish jokes reminds me, if you can find it, there's lyrics. Someone wrote lyrics to a Glaswegian version of Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's absolutely hilarious. Something about, is this the real life or is this the methadone? Anyway, collect the way you want. And that's it. That's it. There's so many feuds going on right now with one side saying you must do this, one side saying you must do that. And it's gotten to the point where there are people making some pretty serious accusations that have nothing to do with toys about the other side. Not cool, not on, and for God's sake, let's just enjoy these damn toys. We were having a debate on opening, yeah. Astro Wars. Still got mine from childhood, actually. Okay, we need to wrap this up very soon. Who's this? Gashead Steve. Evening, sir. Just to pop in and say, love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Where does Blade Runner feature on your top 80s movies lists? Which is number 1? Sorry if already covered. Blade Runner, I've seen it once on a dodgy stream website, and the quality wasn't great, and I didn't enjoy it at all. I'll need to watch it again in proper HD, but I can't comment on that. I watched it once and didn't enjoy it. What kind of Star Wars creatures did you have as a kid? Only a tauntaun, open belly. This is Soda Cauldron. That's a great name. Found a site recently that showed what was on TV on any given day in the 80s. Totally forgot about how TV shut down around 11:30 midnight most of the time, then CFAX. Yep, I actually used a similar site on my Christmas countdown videos. That's how I was able to list the BBC One's Christmas Day schedule. Do you know the drink Blue Velvet? I think it's Guinness with some sweet shot. No, don't know that one. I do know the Irish Car Bomb, which I think was half pint of Guinness and a shot of Bailey's. And then I think you had to, did you balance the shot on the edge of the glass and hammer the table to make it fall in? Can't remember. This is, they advertise authentic British fish and chips in Harry Potter area of Orlando. Can categorically say they're absolutely boffin. Boffin, another great Scottish word. Absolutely. So that's just over the 2-hour mark. So even though I've been sipping at my Coke, I'm thirsty as hell. Wow, I've been talking for 2 hours. Incredible. So there's, let me see, Anthony. Have a good one. Catch you later. Thank you. No, that's Action Figure Expert. Okay. I'm now 51, 87 high school grad, lived in the 80s. Question. I tell my daughter that Tom Hanks is one of the funniest guys of the 80s. What do you think? I honestly wasn't that familiar with Tom Hanks back then, obviously in later years, but as a kid in the 80s, I didn't know about Tom Hanks. Andy, Livestream has been greatly enjoyed it with all the comments. It's brought us back so much nostalgia and happy memories. Good. That's what it's all about. Oh my God, there's more. What advice would you give about collecting vintage Star Wars? My advice would be do it. It depends what you want from your collection. If you just want to have the figures and don't care about the condition, it's very easy to get hold of beater figures that you can throw around and enjoy. If you want nicer looking figures, that takes a bit more research. I know that for me, I wanted the figures to be in as best condition as possible. So it's taken me a bit longer to find them, but it's a pretty enjoyable search, if I'm being honest. Hopefully this might be almost the end. Oh my God, they keep coming. And that was the one we just read. So Sharky Mark, can't watch long, but just wanted to say hi. Thanks for the great content. Thank you for tuning in, Sharky Mark. We're about to wrap things up, but this has been a great experience. I think it's worked pretty well. Great number of comments, 60 some people watching, which is quite amazing, to be honest. And wow. So I'm just trying to see where we are with this. According to StreamYard, it's saying 2 hours and 3 minutes, whereas the the YouTube I'm watching is sitting at the 83-minute mark. That can't be right. But anyway, okay, let me just rattle off a few of these and then we'll call it quits. Can you do some more Stan Solo reviews? Absolutely. I have a number of items on pre-order, but I may dip into some more of those droids that are in stock, so I can do videos of those. Superb stream, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed it. All the best from Scotland and catch you out there. Yes, indeed. So pleased you primed us on Slave Leia. Yeah, I bet we all would like to prime Slave Leia. Better get to work. This has been a cool look forward to next time. I've been a gardener for 20 years. So when you get your garden, any help you need, let me know, Will. All right, thanks, Will. This is Tez. Well done, Dean. I can't imagine how difficult it is to juggle all the comments and keep talking, but you've done this terrific job. Thank you. Thanks for entertaining us tonight. Pally Boys represent. Well, thank you. And let me see. We got Blue Harvest. Thanks. Thank you for watching. Don't stop. Ha ha ha. No, man, I got to stop. I'm parched. Monsters, dinosaurs, and things like that. Take it easy, mate. Good stream. Thank you. Great stream. Love the channel. Well, thank you. So thank you, everyone who has tuned into this and made it the success it has been. I was not expecting this much success. Thank you again for those super chats. That to me is just out of this world. Absolutely mind-blowing. So what do I say here? Thank you for watching. And stay tuned for more videos from, as I just hover the mouse over the end broadcast button, stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s. Good night, everybody, and thank you once again.